Welcome to my fan guys. My name is Luke Pace, and welcome back to everyone who's already a subscriber to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now. I have coming on the show one half of the main event title fight, which is 155 pounds professional MMA for the upcoming 247 Fighting Championship Brawl in the Burgh 25. That's going down December 21st at the Monroeville Convention Center. Very excited to have Chris Rocket Rollins. Chris, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me on, my man.
Always great to have you on. I've seen you fight for other promotions. You've been on the show several times. You're a great guy. You actually run your own promotion, which Rocket Combat Sports promotion. But here you are taking on the two division champ, 145 pound and 155 pound champ for 247, which is Ethan the Wolverine Goss. Let's jump into it. I know this matchup was a long time coming. How do you feel about it coming up now, just under 2 weeks away?
I'm pretty excited for it. Just a big fight. I think you get two guys on win streaks coming into this fight, both of us in our 30s, in our prime, hungry, confident, coming in and face off with each other. I think it's one of the bigger fights you're going to have on a regional level.
Yes, I certainly agree. I mean, I've gotten to know you over the last couple of years. Of course, I've gotten to know Ethan the Wolverine Goss as well. Both of you have a ton of experience. Let's talk about that. You're coming into your 21st MMA fight. I know you've also done kickboxing and pro boxing, a bunch of other stuff, but you're coming into your 21st MMA fight. What do you think about the experience of both of you? And then compare a little bit your experience to Ethan's, because obviously this is a very high level matchup.
Yeah, I feel like I came in with the old school and I stayed on course throughout the new generation of fighters coming in now. Maybe like when I first started, if you were good at one or two things, you could go a long ways. Now you gotta be good everywhere. So I feel like I've kind of just evolved with the sport along and just showed my durability. I just turned 35. I feel like I'm still getting better. Still headlining shows, taking big fights. I had like I want to say three or four title fight offers within this time frame. I feel like he was the hardest fight out of those, so I picked that fight. I could have made more money somewhere else, so I took the harder fight. He's like you said, I guess he's a double champ, and so I'm coming to take what's mine.
Well, let's ask the obvious question. What made you turn down more money to fight Ethan? Is it name recognition, that type of thing? Like what's your mindset there?
I'm just coming for the belt, main event fights. Not really. Like I'll be honest, I never watched any of his fights before. I let some of my guys check the tape out of where, but I really don't watch. Like I have to talk to you about like tape on guys. I make them better than they are or worse than they are. Every fight never goes the way you think it's going to go. I mean, well, I see the fight. We're both, skinnier guys, but we're both tough as hell, scrappy. I mean, there's always a respect coming into fights, stuff like that. But like, we're both kind of built similar, so people kind of look at us as like, we're easy work, but we both showed durability, come back from things. But people have been watching the tape and stuff like that. So when I get in there, my fight IQ is at an all-time high, so I'll solve the puzzle. I mean, I know I'm up for. I know what I signed up for. It's gonna be a tough challenge, but that's why I do this.
And what do you think is the toughest challenge to Ethan? Is it the fact that both you guys are really durable, scrappy, and I mean by that very well-rounded, that could win anywhere, or is there something you see in him that might pose an issue when you get in there on the 21st?
I mean, I think I can solve the puzzle. He's good everywhere. I'm good everywhere. He's a local guy. I know what I signed up for. Coming in there against a hostile crowd. I mean, I don't. Odds are against me. I'm taking this like a this year. I've been on the road a lot, so I'm kind of taking it to like back to my football days, like NFL on the road. I went to West Virginia on the road for like a wild card game. I went there, got the win. I just went to Baltimore. I mean, head to Maryland, had a win there. Now I'm going to Pittsburgh now. So like I'm just going on the road fighting these tough guys, and I'm ready to get in there, and we're the main event for the reason, man. Like I
Oh,
said, I think we talked to you earlier this year or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to fight no rookies. Not, no disrespect for no fighters. I respect all fighters. All guys have paid their dues and been in this game a while. Not asking for the easy fights. That's the fights I want to make. That's why I picked this fight.
yeah, I mean, that certainly makes sense. Fight selection is challenging, particularly when you get to your level or Ethan's level on the regional pro MMA range. There's always somebody that's, maybe 5-0 that wants a crack at you. And I'm glad you went with this fight. I think this is incredible. I think this is a credible matchup. Talk a little bit more about your mindset going on the road. Like you mentioned, of course, I'm a Steelers fan, boo Ravens, but the reality is, you are a guy that spent most of your later career on the road. What makes you a good road team or road fighter?
I think when it comes to the regional level, I've fought in 16 states as a pro now. I mean, I've boxed on some high level shows, national TV, fought guys that are in the UFC now, lost to the guys that are in top rank right now in boxing. So, I mean, the guys that beat me are at the elite level. I just think that experience and overall just never giving up on myself. Just been doing this a long time, just putting in the dues in the gym over and over and over. It's not always the funnest thing to do on a Friday night when everybody's going out to party and do these things. But I'm on the mats and I'm grinding and it's showing now that I'm 35 and still getting better.
Couple of good follow-up questions. One is talk a little bit about and I don't think it necessarily works, but some people like MMA math. Have you, on Tapology, have you seen a little bit of the MMA math? Meaning, I watched it, you have a title win over Ethan Hayes, who was a local guy that you fought in Morgantown. I watched you get that win. And Ethan Hayes has a win over Ethan the Wolverine Goss. I know the Ethans get confused, and we had a battle of the Ethan versus Ethan a few years ago. Do you feel like that MMA math lines up where, because you've beaten Ethan Hayes and Ethan Hayes beat Ethan Goss, does that give you like a confidence, or do you kind of not believe in MMA math and think that it all comes down to what happens in the cage?
Yeah, I don't believe in MMA math at all. I think Matt Brown said it best too. Like, you can fight somebody 5 minutes later in a fight, things can be way different. It's just a place and time. I mean, at this level with fights for both Ethans, but man, I respect both of them. But it's like the level of error is like minimal. I mean, you make one little mistake, and I always tell my guys in training, like, I've won in the fights before, like training camps. I felt the best ever. I go in there and have not a good performance, or I felt like crap in camps. Like, all the stuff that you do, it does matter, but it only matters when the lights are on. So you could do everything right and then go out there and be like, man, this dude's no good or whatever. You can half-ass a camp and just drink beer every night and go there and knock somebody out in 30 seconds. They're like, you're the man. So I think all that stuff don't matter. I'm doing everything I can do. I'm sure he's training hard. He's coming to defend his territory, but I'm coming to take it. And like I said, Ethan Hayes was a tough fight, man. That crowd was rocking in West Virginia when he walked out. They were yelling. He's long, 6'3". I don't even know how he ever made the 145-pound weight class, to be honest with you, because he's a big dude. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty long, but he was very long, very tricky matchup. But I do take confidence off of that, of beating him, and then he was the last man to beat him. He's been on a tear since then, so I think that loss only made him more hungry to come back and you know get on this run that he's on. So I'm prepared to face the best that he has, because he knows I'm going to bring it. I mean, anybody that watched me fights knows I'm a dog. He's a dog. So I mean, the fight sells itself. I feel if you're a fan of MMA and high level matchup, this is the fight you want to tune in and watch.
Yeah, it definitely is. And speaking of that, if people are supporting you and aren't going to be able to make it to Pittsburgh, it's a great time to download the 247 Live app. 247 Fighting Championships has their own app on any of the app stores. It also is compatible with all the smart devices, TV, stuff like that. So if they're going to do the pay-per-view, it's best to get the 247 Live app and then buy the pay-per-view and give you credit, of course, to it through there. Because I do think this is going to be not only physically watched by a lot of people, and obviously that's what 247 wants to put on, but also I think the next level, and let's talk about the next level as far as you at 35 still pushing towards the UFC. You're on a great tear. Ethan the Wolverine Goss is around your age, and he's on a great win streak. What are your thoughts as far as the level of this competition? Whoever wins, do you feel like it's going to get the UFC or one of those national MMA promotions kind of on the radar for that? Do you kind of see this as a step towards Dana White Contender Series, or what do you think is the implication of whoever wins this?
Yeah, that's why I picked this fight. I think when I pick up the win, it's going to position me in a good spot going forward. Like we're gonna be high ranked guys, win streaks, durable. They're gonna call you more likely on a short notice. If you get to that level, you gotta be ready. Medicals are ready, be ready to make weight within a week's notice, stay in camp. So yeah, I'm gonna stay ready. I'm focused on one thing at a time. I know I got my hands full coming to Pittsburgh, fighting him, but I know I'm gonna come out and do what I gotta do to get my hand raised and represent my team. I got a lot of support. My gym we're expanding my gym actually right now. Well, we started it, but we're going to finish it after my fight. So I'm pretty excited about that. So I'm trying to represent for all my fighters, kids that look up to me that I coach. I got a good support system with my close family, my girlfriend. So I'm just prepared to go up there and get the job done.
Yeah, you are an entrepreneur in every way. Obviously, some people might not know this, but being a amateur fighter, particularly a pro fighter, you are an entrepreneur. Your business is yourself, and so you have that business, your MMA business. You also have the gym that we're interviewing, that you're in right now. And then you also have the MMA promotion, which is another side of business. And I'm sure you might even have some other stuff going on as well, which is pretty fantastic as far as all that goes. You mentioned the UFC and at your level being prepared on short notice, obviously, when you're winning at your level and Ethan's level against tough guys with good records. I don't know if you've kind of put this chain of events together because it's been several years, but the first ever pro 155-pound lightweight champ for 247 several years ago was Kama the Death Star Worthy. And after he won that against Adam Ward, it was somewhere between 7 and 10 days out from the UFC needing him to jump in on short notice. He jumped in on short notice and got the upset of the year against Devontae Smith. So as far as lineage goes, the 247 Fighting Championship lightweight belt has already produced a champion that got short notice call to the UFC. And I know that's what you're obviously open for. I know if Ethan gets the win, that's what he's looking for as well. It's already been done by Kama Death Star Worthy right after winning. And I think that goes towards credit for Kama because he's obviously a legend, you and Ethan. But it also shows that, the UFC pays attention to the better matchups. Obviously, I know 247 likes to put on really high-level regional matchups that matter at the national level, and obviously you do too with your own promotion. Talk a little bit about this being at 155. I know you have fought at 145. I've seen you fight at 145. Ethan has fought many more times that I know of for 145-pound belt, defended it, ended up taking the 155-pound belt in his last fight in order to become a double champ for 247. But why is this happening at 55, and what do you think that means as far as you and Ethan goes?
Yeah, since I came back from the boxing, I took a few years off from MMA, just did some boxing fights, like 11 pro boxing fights. I've been doing 155. I'm on a tear there. I'm not going to cut a pile of weight and, just suffer out. I've never missed weight in my career ever, so it's like 155 is easy to make. I can still make 145 as well. Right opportunity, right money, right platform. It's not out of the question, but for the regional level, 155, I'm going to stay there and keep on winning. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and come to Pittsburgh. I'm going to get that belt. He can go back to 145, do his thing. But that belt's going to be mine. And 155-pound regional level, I'm trying to be the pound-for-pound man. I thought maybe, I don't watch a lot of the rankings, but I figured I've been number 2 pound-for-pound in Virginia for a while. I thought once I won my fight back in October, I'd bump up. So I'm like, damn, I still got more work to do this year. So I think, after December 21st, they're going to give me my pound for pound ranking, but all that stuff doesn't matter really at the end of the day. I just got to take care of business. And like you were saying, shout out to, all the older guys. I feel like they're like, oh, the bigger shows don't want to sign us that we're in their 30s, 32, 33, 34, 35. I'm like, you look at some of the champions, man, that's when they're hitting their peak right now. So it's like, you got to give it. These guys, we've been around for a long time, so it's like I'm trying to represent for the guys my age that's still doing this thing and want to, let us know we're not, I'm not no stepping stone for nobody. We're here to still win fights and put on exciting fights for the fans, our teams, and just represent.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're seeing at the UFC level. Obviously, you and Ethan are both great examples of fighters who, some people, because of age and number of fights, might say, oh, but the reality is you're kind of at your most dangerous because you've connected the physical talent now with the mental ability to kind of see things. You had mentioned Tapology. They still have you as the number 2 pound for pound pro in all of Virginia. That's not just at your weight class, and that is you being second out of 387 pros that fight in or out of Virginia. So that is a big deal. I know Tapology, we can argue with some of the ratings, but they keep great records, and at least it gives you kind of a sense of where you are in the rankings. So they have you at the top 25. They have you at 22nd out of 135 in all of Northeast, and that's just that lightweight. So top 25 out of 135 in the Northeast, and obviously pound for pound in Virginia, top 2. So really, really a great thing that you're doing. You're on an incredible roll. It's up to you now, but this is the time if you want to give a prediction, if you want to call your shot, give a prediction on the fight, or if not, do whatever you want with this time to kind of talk about your closing thoughts and your parting shots on this matchup. December 13 days away from filming here at the Monroeville Convention Center.
Yeah, like I said, I don't like to do much predictions because every fight I've had a pile of fights never go like I ever thought. But I feel like I'm the pound for pound man out here in Virginia. I'm fighting a pound for pound, 247 double champ, whatever they say about him. Most fights in Oregon. I think that in itself sells that he's confident. He thinks he's going to win. I think I'm going to win. And I think at the end of the day, the fans win. And I'm coming to represent for my team, my brand, full-time fight wear, Rocket Combat Sports, Rocket Boxing, Martial Arts. And, just show that I'm still here pushing. I mean, I don't have to do this anymore. Like you said, I got my brands going. I'm doing my things. I'm coaching. I'm doing my show. I'm not just doing this for, fun. I do this because I love it. And I've dedicated my whole adult life to this. And I would lose some fights early on. I feel like I tell people I'm sorry or this or that. I was like, no, this is for me now. If I don't win, it's breaking my own heart. I've sit in the locker room. I've cried after fights. I've done this. When you half-ass things, it doesn't matter to you. But when you lose, first I can put some coal in your stocking for Christmas. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to promote the fight, promote myself, as you for other fighters. And my prediction.